day one, you get your list. Day two, get you, Chelsea, to start the ads, the targeted ads on Facebook. So now day three, you start making the calls. Now, when you're calling, that's exactly what happens. Sometimes they don't even remember that they saw your ad, but in their mind, they're like, I know this loan officer. This loan officer gets around because they've seen it.
Hey, y'all, and welcome to the Align Your Marketing podcast. I'm your host, Chelsea Gardner, and this podcast is designed specifically for loan officers, real estate professionals, and business owners looking to simplify and align their marketing strategies. Each week, we will dive into tools, tips, and tactics that are going to help you stay consistent, visible, and ahead of the competition. From expert insights to actionable strategies, you will walk away with everything you need to streamline your marketing efforts and grow your business. Let's get started. Welcome back, everyone. If you did not join us last week, please be sure to go check out the episode last week. I had Richard Smith on, who is the branch manager at Richard Smith of Southwest Funding and the co-founder of Remote Assistant Scout, which is what we talked about last week. So if you want all of the details on that, more information on Richard, go listen to last week's episode. This week, though, what you don't know, because we didn't dive in last week, was he also is owner of qualifiedAgentList.com. And this is something that I am so passionate about when it comes to list and advertising and all of the things. So we're going to dive into what is Qualified Agent List and all of the things. So welcome back, Richard. I'm excited to have you again.
Oh, I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me back.
Yeah. And so let's talk about Qualified Agent List. Tell me how you got into it and what is it?
So it's been a few years that we used to let me just tell you a personal story. So I started meeting agents. Like, one of the strategies that was always being talked about was you've got to meet with real estate agents. You've got to build those relationships and get referrals that way, right?
Yeah.
And so what I ended up doing is just calling realtors, scheduling appointments. And then I had a VA call, schedule me appointments. And I would have sometimes 5 to 6, 7 appointments a week sitting with, having coffee with realtors. And I remember one in particular, and this happened a lot at the beginning, but I remember one in particular, this agent telling me, started asking a lot of weird questions about real estate that I thought, maybe an agent should know. Now, but
like, shouldn't you know this?
Yeah, it was starting, my ears perked. And then she told me, she said, yeah, can I be honest with you? And I said, sure. And she said, well, I've been a realtor for about 2 years and I haven't had a closing yet. So I was like, really? I said, well, let's, in my normal, let me give you my advice, but how she could go about getting her first client and things like that. And it was a great meeting, but it made me realize that I've got to look at my time a little bit differently.
Right.
Like, I need to be meeting with agents that are actually doing business. And so so that's where kind of Qualified Agent List came into mind. And it was, I was part of Mortgage Marketing Animals at the time, and that's a huge thing with them also. And that's makes complete sense that we've got to work or meet with agents so we can work with them that are closing closing buy sides.
Absolutely.
And so what we decided was that about 8 buy sides or more in the last 12 months would consider them qualified, right?
Yep.
So they're actually giving leads every month, every week in a lot of cases. So that's kind of where I came up with the idea. Okay, well, I need to figure out who's qualified and who's not. And so that's when we came up with Qualified Agent List. because it worked so well with me. And I thought, well, we can help a lot of other loan officers get qualified lists too. So they're calling the right agents. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. And so the list that so let's say I'm a loan officer looking for qualified agent. And let's say I'm in the Tampa Bay area. Are you able to help me find qualified agents in my area? Or kind of how does that work on the back end for you?
Oh, yes. So to kind of put it in a nutshell, I have a team that puts together the lists so they have access to get lists from all over the country.
Awesome.
So to
Okay.
answer your question, yes, we would put a list together of about 1,000 or more qualified agents that have closed 8 or more buy sides in the last 12 months. It's a live list. So if it's January 2025, we're going to go back from January 2024 all the way to, or well, February 1st, 2024 to January 2025.
Okay.
In any part of the country. It can be more than one area. Like let's say you're in Tampa and you want a list of Tampa, but you also, let's say you were from Atlanta, Georgia, and you still had relationships there and you still have a business growing there. You could get half your list Tampa, half your list Atlanta, and we could put
Oh,
that
wow. Okay.
together with all qualified agents.
Now, so I'm literally in the northbound of Tampa in a really small town. So you said the list is about 1,000. So what if there's not 1,000 qualified agents in my tiny little town? How does that work?
Well, we do it however the loan officer wants us to do it, but
Okay.
in most cases, what we do is we kind of stick a pin in your town, and then we just build a big circle around it. So you're if you're trying to meet with them face to face, you don't want to be driving too far.
Right.
But we just build a bigger circle.
Got it. Okay. So Tampa Bay, probably smaller circle, Dade City, bigger circle.
Yes, yes.
Got it. Got it. That's awesome. So I'm guaranteed to get about 1,000 in my list, possibly a little more, just give or take. And what kind of information am I getting?
That's a great question. You're getting the name of the realtor. You're getting their cell phone number, their email address, how many buy sides they closed in the last 12 months. So that number will be anywhere from 8 plus.
Wow. Okay.
You're getting their brokerage that they work at and the physical address in case you want to send out thank you notes or things like that. And that's all the info you're getting. And it's really cool. And we haven't talked about this, and I don't know if that's a question you were going to ask. I don't want to I don't want to jump ahead, but it's a really cool list to also either do or have somebody upload into Facebook and advertise just to that list.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what should I be doing with that list, and Facebook ads are definitely on my list, but and
Yes.
we'll dive into Facebook ads here in a sec. What else can I do with that list?
Really, it's the best thing to do with it is just to start calling.
Okay.
So you start calling those realtors and start scheduling appointments with them. You can do mail outs with that list because you do have
The
their
address.
brokerage, name and address. And then yeah, you hit it right on as you can upload that list and do targeted Facebook ads.
Yeah, and the benefits of that, obviously I run Facebook ads for a lot of loan officers, and
Yep.
almost all of them get lists directly from you. So, the thing with that is it's a huge benefit because as you're making your calls to them, right? So you've got this list of 1,000, you're calling them, but maybe out of that 1,000, 800 have never heard of you or know who you are. So running those targeted Facebook ads to them kind of gives them a little bit of oh, I've seen your face or I've seen your name
Yes.
somewhere, right? Like it's not necessarily the Facebook ad's going to possibly bring in the lead, right? Like we recommend, I'm sure for you, you want to call them, you want to get them on the phone and chat with them and, call, text, email, kind of come at them in all angles until they talk to you, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the best way to actually, you know, process the strategy is day one, you get your list. Day two, get you Chelsea to send to start the ads, the targeted ads on Facebook. So now day 3, you start making the calls. Now, when you're calling, that's exactly what happens. Sometimes they don't even remember that they saw your ad, but in their mind, they're like, I know this loan officer. This loan officer gets around because they've seen it.
Yep.
And it's just that subconsciously in their memory.
Yeah.
And so, that strategy works really, really well.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've had my clients be like, I call my realtors and they're like, I see you everywhere. And they're like, cool, but I'm only, I'm just targeting you, so
Right.
it's definitely, something that's hugely beneficial because like you said, they may not even realize where they're seeing you or how they're seeing you, right? They don't know if it's a billboard, Facebook, whatever. But they just remember that at some point they saw Richard Smith come across their, face and facial recognition, name recognition. And when you're having difficulty maybe getting them on the phone, right? And you're calling every week and they're not answering, as they start seeing you more and more, they're probably more likely to pick up the phone because now it's like, oh, I've seen this person. That name sounds familiar. Do I know them? Right. So now they're really getting engaged with you a little bit easier because it's not just a cold call per se.
Right. Exactly.
I love that. I love that. Okay, cool. So this is going to be a short and sweet episode because honestly, it kind of speaks for itself, right? Like if you are a loan officer, you should be meeting with, talking to, advertising to qualified agents. And remind us again, Richard, what is a qualified agent on behalf of you guys?
Yep, it is a agent that has closed 8 or more buy sides in the last 12 months.
Yes. And it's not to say you can't chat with those that don't, but right. You really want to be diving into who's going to make the biggest impact and how can you work with those that are, producing. And, whereas at the beginning we heard, Richard's story with, well, I met with someone, they hadn't closed anything in 2 years, right? So if you are a busy loan officer, you may not have the freedom and flexibility to go and have coffee dates and lunches with those that haven't closed anything in a couple of years. So right. This list will help you in your immediate area or wherever you're trying to target, right? Like you said, I can split it up with Tampa and Atlanta if I want to, if I'm licensed in both areas. And I'm a huge advocate for it. And like I said, almost all my clients have qualified agent lists from you. So I love it. I'm so excited you came on and we chatted about it. And I think everyone should be reaching out to you to get this list and utilize it. So where can the person on the other end find you?
They can go to for the qualified agent list. Yep. They would just go to qualifiedagentList.com, qualifiedagentList.com.
Awesome. And from there, they will fill out the information and do they... Yep. Do you kind of reach out to them or what's that back end process look like for them?
So they would go to that. They can watch the little video on there, go to that web page, place the order. Then they're going to choose their area or areas. And then they will get an email and then we reach out. The team reaches out just to confirm the information and everything. And it just takes about 7 to 10 days to get their full list sent to them.
Wow. My goodness. You can go today and have it next week.
Yep.
If you go the day that you're listening to this, you will have it in 7 to 10 days. You can't beat that.
and the list is put together specifically for each person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like if you had multiple loan officers in the Tampa Bay area, for example, different lists, different kind of areas, things like that.
Yep. Awesome. Exactly. A new list would be made and it'd be scrubbed. So it's a good list for each person.
I love that. All right, cool. Well, with all of that information, you can call them, you can text them, email them, mail them stuff, upload the list to Facebook, get in front of them, be seen. Again, I'm a huge advocate. It fires me up. I love this concept of it. And I just think every loan officer should be having this list. So anything I missed that you want to share? No,
you hit it right on.
I'm definitely passionate
passionate about this. So I'm excited you came on. Thank you so much for joining us, Richard. I appreciate it. And again, qualifiedagentlist.com. I will make sure to put all of that information in the show notes so you can go today and get your list. So thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Align Your Marketing podcast. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode, and be sure to follow us over on Instagram at Fully Aligned Marketing. Also, we love to connect with you and learn more about you, so don't be afraid to send us a DM. Until next time, friends, we'll see you soon.